But as long as we say to ourselves we will do as we please, the same thing it falls into our moral structure. The morality of the people is falling, and falling seriously.
Thank you all for joining me on this quick YouTube short, bringing some awareness to a recent video that I was a part of, along with the One Great Work Warriors, Chris, Derek, Jerry, Jim, and Rick. We just recently did a video, Freedom Isn't Free. And when I first heard this topic of discussion, I was just coming from the standpoint of course, the human condition now and how it's enslaved, versus, like what can we do to get to the result of freedom? You know, not just mentally, but of course mentally, but creating it in the physical, health domain. And of course, freedom, the etymology was a free will, freedom to choose, freedom to, just not be in bondage. And of course, dominion, freedom. So the free will right to choose, your own domain, your own body, your state, your condition, your ability to think, conceive, cognize. So, but one of the things that we have to give up in order to get to this end game goal of freedom is we have to let go of wrong forms of thought, wrong forms of dogma, wrong forms of religious beliefs that are holding us back from elevating consciousness, from evolving and the rising of consciousness, and also holding us back from getting to the end game goal of freedom, because religious belief structures, religious ideology, wrong forms of thinking, wrong forms of health perception, because wrong forms of thoughts are what lead to wrong behaviors. So this is what the polluted stage of the grammar would be. You interject wrong thoughts in people's minds. You give them incorrect definition of words. You give them limited knowledge. That way, when it comes to logic, they'll have limited logic or distorted logic. There won't be any understanding if you didn't have the correct grammar. And then, of course, there won't never really be any right action in the form of wisdom or rhetoric. So you give them wrong thoughts, and that's going to lead to wrong behaviors. And that's what mankind has to learn to let go of, these egoic attachments to these wrong ways of thinking, these wrong axioms that are not serving, true good, that are not, sending us or helping us get toward that which we claim to want. That would be a contradiction, So just think about it. Today is the bullshit holiday of Easter. How many people still have egoic attachments to that shit? They don't want to let that part go. These subconscious installed negative programs that people are running, that they think that they just have to turn on when we get to a certain holy day or a certain time of the year. Then people feel like they have to go out and just waste money and partake in these like these ritualistic events that they know absolutely nothing about, because Easter has nothing to do with fucking Jesus. It has nothing to do with Christianity. The egg was symbolic of something else that had nothing to do with Christ, that had nothing to do with Christianity, that had nothing to do with anything, as what the mainstream narrative is. But it just shows how these thought forms are constantly running in people's mindset, these mind viruses. And that's the thing, is wrong thoughts are a mind virus, because it prevents newer information from coming in. And this was like one of the first things that I talked about in the video, is how wrong thoughts are shaping our reality. Wrong thoughts are what is leading to behavior. So if you want to check out the video, of course there will be links in the description. You can scan the QR code. But I'm going to keep hammering this topic of wrong thoughts, because our thoughts are coming in, from someone else's rhetoric. And that's the thing, is the words, man, creating thoughts, creating emotions inside of us. So you limit their understanding the words, you limit the definitions, is going to create more and more distorted thoughts, more and more wrong thoughts. So if you want to check out the video, then you're free to do so. This is, of course, just a short version on this garbage ass platform called YouTube. And hell, again, many other people are starting to get strikes and starting to get banned on, like on this shitty communist platform. So it's not just, people who are talking about certain things they don't want. Like now the algorithms are just banning, like freaking anybody. But, freaking that's what happens once you start going full totalitarian. So fuck this garbage ass platform. Peace out.
The effects are inherent in their causes. We observe every day that causes produce consequences. But most people are so much interested in their own ideas about consequences that they overlook the problem of causation.